Today is Thursday, December 17th, 2020. There are 2 weeks left to the year, and it got me to thinking. I'd like to propose a scenario because it's what I've been thinking about. If we had 2 weeks to prepare for SHTF, how would we do it? Some of the things that you may want to think about, uh, of course, food and water. Those are, that's things that you prepare for any emergency. Um, but beyond that, first of all, very important, you want to make sure that you have a manual can opener in case you need to rely on your canned goods that you have prepped, that you have stored up. Also, you want to consider alternative ways to cook. You may have some of those things already in practice. I think it would be wise to do so. Flashlights or some other alternative lighting. I know recently somebody had suggested in our live streams the cheap little $1 solar lights that are meant for the garden. Stick those in a window during the day, and then you can use those to light whatever room you're in your house at night after dark. This time of year, the days are shorter, the nights are longer, so you've got more darkness than you do daytime, natural light. So lighting is pretty important to me, and that's something you should probably consider too. Another thing that you could think of is maybe communications. Do you do CB or ham radio? Alternate ways to communicate with other people in a situation where maybe the grid's down, maybe there's no electricity, and additionally maybe there's no internet. Hand crank radio would be a good idea too, so that you can have at least weather updates, because us in the homesteading community, that's pretty important for us to know the weather that's coming, and it's pretty important for everybody, but like especially when it comes to gardening or tending animals, things like that. You want to get a heads up for any kind of inclement weather, any bad weather that's coming. You want a warning, some kind of way. First aid is something that everybody should have on hand, some kind of first aid kit, as well as knowledge on how to use that stuff, and any necessary medications for you or your family members would be a good thing to prep as well. Hygiene items. Toilet paper has been in short supply recently. I think it's actually coming back to the stores in better stock. But additionally, as far as hygiene items go, you ladies probably know what I'm talking about. You might want to have extra lady products on hand, and some of those things can have dual uses in first aid. Something that I've been struggling with lately because of my medical issues is fitness. That's something that you may want to consider and discuss in your answer to this challenge. Is how would you improve your fitness going forward, especially into some sort of emergency scenario? Having cash on hand would be something you could consider. I think it would be important for me to have cash on hand, because if the grid is down, there's no power to ATMs. If the internet is down, that's same thing. You can't use your ATM debit or credit cards without internet and electricity. So cash would be something that you would want to consider. Some sort of get-home bag or vehicle bag, so especially if you have the potential to be stuck away from home, if something were to happen, you would want to have items with you in order to help you get home. Along that same note, a map, especially if you're not familiar with the area that you're in, or the area that you may end up potentially trapped in or not trapped in, but if something were to happen, an area that you may be, uh, and you would want to get home. Like if you have a commute, if you live out in the country but you work in the city, you would want to have the items in a get home bag or a vehicle bag. Uh, that is, if your vehicle is operational, because in an EMP situation, that may not be the case. You may have to walk or hike back home. So a map and other essential items that you may want to pack up in a get home bag or vehicle bag, those would be good things to discuss for this challenge. If I know for us, we recently went through a couple hurricanes here in Southwest Louisiana, and garbage disposal was interrupted. That was a service that they weren't able to operate for a little while. So have a plan in place to be able to mitigate your garbage. Maybe try not to produce so much garbage, which is a good plan anyway. If you're an environmentalist like I am, I'm not a crazy environmentalist, but I do think of our impact on the world as a whole. Try to minimize your garbage, and also, like, what garbage you do have, what are you going to do with it? Those are things to think about. Security. For me personally, I have a rule that I don't talk about my security with as far as our household goes. I don't talk about that on YouTube, and I rarely talk about it even in person. But as far as your security goes, like maybe fences or ways to protect your family. Let's say that. Another thing to consider is maybe you want to work on honing some skills. Maybe you know that you're not doing well in a certain area, like, I don't know, fire starting, for example. Maybe you want to work on getting better at fire starting. You've got 2 weeks to do so in this scenario. That might be something to talk about and consider. After a hurricane, like for us, we spent a week and a half, almost 2 weeks, in basically a grid down scenario after Hurricane Laura, and we realized that we would benefit greatly from a generator. So that may be something you want to consider. The purpose of this challenge is just to get you thinking. And I'm going to leave the challenge open to preppers, homesteaders, survivalists, outdoorsmen. I think a lot of the aspects of those different niches kind of overlap. So, but really, it's open to anyone who wants to participate, whether you're a YouTube creator or not. Feel free to leave discussion down in the comments below this video. Feel free to make your own video. Feel free to challenge others with this scenario, with this idea, because iron sharpens iron. When we challenge one another to think, that's when we our thought process gets sharper. That's when we start to figure out maybe the things that we lack, and we can improve those things for ourselves. So really, it's a team effort all the way around. I'm excited to see what you guys come up with. Be sure and let me know, either down in the comments or on social media, any kind of way. Just let me know if you have made a video in response to this challenge so that I can go check it out. Just all I ask is that if you would, please refer back to us in your video. Broussard Homestead, we're hosting the challenge. I would appreciate that. It's not necessary, but I'd appreciate it. So until next time, stay prepped, stay prayed up, and keep your head on a swivel.